we're going to go to the very first play of the game. Okay, and the whole point of this is we're gonna try to look at things that could translate to the regular season. One of these on this play is just play design and what Ben Johnson's trying to get done. I love this as a first play. So Tim Jenkins was talking about this too. You're in 12 personnel. You can see you got 2 tight ends, so you're strong to the right, but they're going to put Colson Loveland in motion. You're going to see a lot of motion with this Ben Johnson offense. So he's going to shift over to the left side pre-snap, make the line balance, which of course always is going to make the defense, have to check this way as well. So now we go to the next slide where Colson Loveland is here now, and we're just talking pretty simple play action boot, right? You're just going to go back here, fake the handoff, roll out to your right. If you're Mitch Trubisky, we're going to get this wide receiver out here to get the hell out of the way, and Colson Loveland's just going to come right across the formation in the flat. This is just kind of taking candy from a baby, honestly, on the first play of the game. So a lot of credit to Ben Johnson. Obviously, the execution from the players involved too. And look, I'm going to freeze this right at the point where Caleb is turning around from the fake handoff. Mm-hmm. It might not look like it, but Colson Loveland's open already. Okay, so this is the conflict defender that you got to watch. You can see his feet are already going the wrong direction. Okay, so even though Colson Loveland hasn't run by him yet, with his speed and his ability to move, the second Caleb's able to turn his eyes here, he knows that this play is going to work. And at this point where Colson Loveland catches this, honestly, you said this in the moment, Greg. You kind of wanted him to break that tackle and get more. Yeah. Had he been able to, there's a lot of space out here. Nice play by the defender ultimately to force him out and only a gain of 8. But what a great first play to gain 8 yards right away. Get your offense moving.
Yeah, and as Eric Beauchamp is saying here in the chat, he says, I love that Johnson called a layup for Caleb at the very beginning to settle him down. That's the expectation for a $13 million head coach that has this kind of play calling, background is I want to see a lot of layups this year.
And also for Colson Loveland, who's a rookie. Get him going right away with a nice little easy pitch and catch.
And when we talked about it with Tim, when you have the kind of speed with DJ Moore, Olamide Zaccheaus, and, Rome Odunze's got speed. Colson Loveland's got speed. Luther Burden's got speed. You should be able to design mismatches that can create these kind of layups that have an opportunity for big plays.
So second play now. Pay attention to this one. I'm excited about this play, okay? And it's because of what I think Caleb's possibly identifying some keys pre-snap, but definitely seeing post-snap. So what the Bills show is a post safety, all right, with middle field closed. But and you get in these corners pressing at the line of scrimmage. Good indication that it could be man. But there's a couple tips here that maybe it's not. I mean, first off, we go back to the post safety. He's on the right hash while the ball is on reverse it. So offense, right hash, defense, left hash. That is just a small indication that he might be leaning to the numbers to the outside. Mm-hmm. Okay? He might be. The other thing, too, okay, quarterbacks, you're supposed to look at the eyes of these corners. So eyes are on the receiver. Eyes are on the receiver. That's a good indication that it could be man coverage. However, look at the slot corner. His eyes are in the backfield. Okay, so it's another indication that this safety that's creeping down here might not actually be coming. And sure enough, he backs off. This safety goes to the right, and they're actually middle field open. The reason why middle field open matters so much for this specific play is because Cole Kmet is running this seam route. Okay, so if the middle of the field's not open, that's not going to work. But if all of a sudden this safety's coming out here, and this safety's got his back turned coming out here, the middle of the field is open for Cole Kmet as long as he can just run by this linebacker, which he does. All right? Same type of thing. We talk about the timing with Tim Jenkins. Caleb's hitting the back of his drop here. Cole Kmet, it might not look like he's open here yet, but there's enough chemistry that he knows that he's got a step.
Well, in the hips of the linebacker.
Exactly. And the middle of the field is opening up with these safeties moving to the outside. So I wanted to show you this end zone angle too, because this is a great post-snap thing that I saw from Caleb on this with the film. Because, again, this safety, look bottom left of your screen, he's got his back turned. He's running back into that cover 2 shell. Caleb Williams, I think, saw this coming, but his eyes, again, I wish I had the video to show you. His eyes have been this way since pretty much the snap. And right here where I have this frozen, he peeks. He's peeking at the safety just to make sure. Just to make sure that that safety is, in fact, staying over to that side of the field. As soon as he sees that, he knows that Cole Kmet is going to run by this linebacker. He's going to go straight up down the railroad tracks, as you might call it, straight down the hashes. And then where's the ball? Foot planted. Not a ton of space here, but look at this pass. I mean, it really was a great throw.
It was a rip.
So, and not a ton of... He had the right club in his bag, as we might say, because he didn't put a ton of arc on it. He just ripped it right up the seam. Perfect accuracy. It's a Cole Kmet, who's probably not going to be running away from the safety too often. He doesn't. I saw some criticism of that on Twitter, of course, but come on. Let's be happy with the outcome.
Yeah, and let you run through these because I know we have a lot, but I'll bring, kind of point this out in more detail in a little bit on the show, but to your point about him recognizing where the safeties are drifting pre-snap, where the eyes are of the guys coming up in the box, you're only able to do those things if you get to the line of scrimmage quickly. And yes, I'll show you later just how efficient they were at getting in and out of the huddle and getting to the line of scrimmage with plenty of time for Caleb Williams to kind of survey the whole scene.
Now, is this the most complex defense in the world? No. I also wouldn't call it vanilla. I mean, they were in a single high middle field close and post-snap rotated out of it, okay? And that's not the only one that they did change their look post-snap. I'm going to show you one coming up here, too.
Yeah, they call it giving the quarterback different pictures, a pre-snap picture and then a post-snap picture that are two totally different things.
Right, so will it look different against the Vikings in week 1? Yes. Will it be more complex? Yes. But
you better believe it with Brian Flores.
It's not
He'll
like
give you 4 different pictures
right,
on a play.
But it's not like the Bills were just standing there in the same picture the entire night last night. So I think that's important to point out. Okay. This is the third down throw to DJ Moore at the top of the screen. And I want to show this again. So now you got basically cover 2 shell. They end up, the defenders down here at the bottom of the screen end up switching. So there is some, the point is, there's some stuff happening down here, okay? What I love about this, though, is whatever's happening basically all over here, who cares? You have DJ Moore one-on-one. You can pretty much see that pre-snap. You need, I think this was 3rd and 5, right? So, again, if you want to look down here, this is what I was talking about. This defender actually switches over to Colston Loveland, which, by the way, I was going to point out. Colston Loveland, this was 12 personnel, but Loveland split out wide. So essentially becomes 11 personnel. All right, so I should have pointed that out on the last slide. But so you get this little switch from these defenders. But, again, it doesn't matter because up here at the top, you have DJ Moore just running like a little stop route, little 5-yard curl, and the ball's already out. Look where the ball is. Ball's already out. Caleb, Tim Jenkins talked about this earlier. He realized it. He saw it. Quick drop. Bam. Ball was out. And by the way, Braxton Jones played pretty well in this game. This was like the one time he gave up any pressure. You don't even see that pressure because the ball's out so fast.
Yeah, it's what you want. It's simple. It's simple football, but simple should be applauded.
All right, so this is going to be another little switch up by the Bills pre-snap. Okay, we got middle field open with 2 safeties back. This is the deep over to Colston Loveland, so we can see him here. It's 11 personnel, but with Loveland on the outside, kind of split out like he's going to be running a route, even though it's a condensed formation. So post-snap, you're going to see the rotation where actually now the middle field's closed and it turns into a cover 3. All right. This is another thing Tim Jenkins mentioned earlier. This receiver is just basically running the clear out to get those safeties back. All right, being unselfish so that Colston can sit right back here in the zone. Okay, and then the read from Caleb Williams is nice and easy. You got Olamide Zaccheaus. It's low to high, right? Or high to low, depending on what the rules are. But if these linebackers stay back, okay, just rip it to OZ right here. Get some nice yardage. If they stay up, though, which is what ends up happening, and that space that Colson Loveland ran to behind.
Right, they sat.
Right, you can actually see Colson Loveland's just the top of his helmet here. Those linebackers stay down. Boom, look at all that space he had. And I know this throw looks like it's a little bit high, but it had to come out that way. If you actually see the pressure that Caleb had, there was a defensive lineman with his hand up. He had to get it over that. And this is a catchable ball. It's a good pass. It's accurate. Colson Loveland's able to catch it and get upfield for some more yardage at the same time.
Yep.
And then I believe we just have, this last play. So this is the touchdown to OZ. This is a little bit more obvious coverage that you're able to see pre-snap. You do have the single high safety. Everyone else is pretty much pressed up at the line, right? So you know you're manned up. So this is one of those where the coaches are on the sideline going, oh, we got this. Because you're going to run this little switch release with Roma Dunze and Olamide Zaccheaus right here. Those are those two guys. When we say switch release, okay, these guys are manned up. So to make that harder on them, OZ is going to switch with Rome. As Rome runs that way, OZ comes out, and that's going to make life harder for these defenders. So when Rome clears out here, he's taking this guy with him. OZ's going to go here, foot in the ground, bam.
But that switch creates that separation exactly where you're pointing here. Because they switch, now the guy that's taking Olamide Zaccheaus that's getting passed off, look at how much room of separation there is at the line of scrimmage for Zaccheaus to kind of operate and make a move on him.
And same thing with the anticipation. Bam. Just like that, Caleb's ready to throw. Okay?
And look at the pocket, guys. Look at the pocket and the window that, this pass doesn't happen if there's not an angle and a window to be able to rip that to Zaccheaus. The pocket was clean last night.
It was, and OZ's open already. You can see that right here. Rome's clearing out more space, which I'm going to show you on the next slide here. This is what's great about this, is when OZ is able to catch this right here, look, this guy's already, you can X him out. He's beat. All right, but in man coverage, with Rome running this way, he's just running this other defender out of here. So he doesn't matter, right? You just follow your other teammate right up the field, and the more you do that, the more you're creating all of this space to be able to run to. And all you got to do, and this is where OZ's natural speed, which I think we have to take into account, DeMar Hamlin, one guy to beat. Break one tackle, and this is a touchdown, which he does, so players make plays too. It's great play design. Caleb's on time. The pocket was clean, like you said, and then you just let your guy make one guy miss at the end, and it's a touchdown. So I know that was a lot to digest, and that was pretty much the entire first series, but I hope you guys can sort of see that there were times where the Bills were vanilla. I still don't think vanilla is not what I would call it, though. I mean, I would call it like, vanilla, maybe Rocky Road with some sprinkles on top. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, but Caleb handled all that, and Ben Johnson had a plan, and the players all executed. So for this one Monday, I think you're allowed to feel good about it. I think there's some things you can take in that ODK that should translate to the regular season. And yes, we can all sit here and acknowledge the fact, as I'm sure Ben Johnson's doing with the entire offense and Caleb Williams, completely different challenge in week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings, which, oh, by the way, might have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense, when it's all said and done in the league this year, and it's going to be complicated.